Hello, everyone. Welcome to Auntie Derek's Daytime Tea, where we discuss the latest celebrity tea in the news. I'm your host, Auntie Derek, and with me I have my fabulous co-host, I Chill. Hey, boo.
What's up, baby? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I am just fabulous. How are you?
I am doing so wonderfully, thank you.
And shout out to the listeners here as well, and one of my favorites up in here today, Moderna. Hey, boo.
What up? What up? What up?
Yes. That's one of my favorite Aries, honey, other than myself. So we're gonna get started with, and this is, I believe, I had to take a little time off. I had a great vacation, but happy to be back. And while we are back, let's go ahead and start with the Pride Post segment of the show, coined by the fabulous Beezus, who came up with this great term that I love. And we're actually going to talk about someone who Will suggested by the name of Neon Manley, a ballroom icon.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about her. So now it doesn't look like this link that I tried to share from Bronx.com is working. So let me just go ahead and get rid of this. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know about y'all, but it only showed up a white blank page for me, and can't nobody do nothing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so this is from the Bronx Daily or Bronx.com. And look at how gorgeous she is. Just gorgeous, honey. This is Niambi Stanley.
Oh, she is
And this
pretty.
starts at and ballroom icon Niambi E. Stanley, A Journey of Resilience and Legacy. And you see this was written by Dennis Richmond Jr. So, in the mesmerizing world of ballroom, where artistry, culture, and community intertwine, one name stands out: Niambi E. Stanley, reserved as Niambi Prodigy. Her story is not just one of triumph on the dance floor, but also a poignant narrative of loss, mentorship, and unyielding advocacy. Niambi's journey in the ballroom scene began at the tender age of 13, navigating the vibrant underground of Philadelphia. It was a world where she found solace and expression, mentored by luminaries who imparted not only the intricate steps of Vogue, but also the rich history and ethos of ballroom. Among them was her beloved mother, Tanya, who, alongside others, ensured Niambi understood the legacy she was inheriting. However, alongside the triumphs came profound losses. Now, Niambi carried the weight of countless departed souls from the ballroom scene, including her childhood friend, Samantha Tookie Cookie James. Reflecting on Samantha, Niambi reminisced she was just the type of person that loved life. Yet every day she wakes up grieving, a testament to the toll that the scene's realities exacts on its denizens. Despite the hardships, Niambi's journey brims with highlights. From battling legends like Sania in the late 1990s to claiming victory at a monumental ball in Baltimore, her prowess on the dance floor is legendary. Shout out to Baltimore.
Shout out to
And
Baltimore.
okay, you already know how I feel about y'all accents, honey. So, in 2012, she secured a coveted win, adorned in all black with a touch of red, walking away with a towering trophy and a grand prize that exceeded expectations. Beyond the accolades, Niambi's impact extends far beyond the dance floor. As a member of the House of Prodigy, she helps cultivate spaces where talent flourishes and legacies are forged. Her entrepreneurial spirit birthed ventures ranging from graphic design to television programming, yet her true calling emerged in activism and advocacy. In recent years, Niambi's impact, I'm trying to read the same paragraph twice, my bad. In recent years, Niambi has become a stalwart voice for the marginalized, particularly Black trans women. In the face of escalating discrimination and violence, she stands resolute, using platforms like Bigo Live to spark crucial conversations and mobilize support. Her mantra resonates with unwavering self love and resilience. You are enough. I love you. Oh, I love that. Niambi's commitment to her community shines brighter than ever. Constantly advocating for communities across the globe, she exemplifies the intersection of art and advocacy. Her legacy is not just etched in trophies and accolades, but in the lives she touches and the barriers she dismantles. Niambi E. Stanley, aka Niambi Prodigy, transcends the boundaries of ballroom, emerging as a beacon of hope, resilience, and unwavering authenticity. In her journey, we find inspiration and remember that true greatness lies not just in victory, but in the transformative power of one's spirit. So again, shout out to that gorgeous icon and thank you for your work, your advocacy, and tearing it up in the ballroom. Could y'all imagine being a ballroom legend or like a because they usually call them girls like the young was fresh tuna or freshwater tuna. So just imagine being a freshwater tuna, honey, and killing things on that ballroom floor. Like I know they was looking at her like, bitch, where did you come from?
Okay, she was an up and coming legend, honey.
So, yes, indeed. So shout out to her.
She's real cute, honey. I live for the fact that she had won that prize in Baltimore, honey. That's exactly what she need to do. Go down there and shut them girls down. And the girls be gagging because the ballroom scene is big on the East Coast. Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
DC, New York, Philly, Jersey. All them girls be getting down. And then you come down to the South and they starting to do balls in the South and stuff, but it ain't the same.
It's not. It's not. It's because I actually experienced my first ball and remember like when I turned 18, when I was a freshwater tuna, I would attend like multiple clubs and stuff in North Carolina, but I didn't experience my first ball until I moved to New York. So and when I tell you that was a mind blowing experience, huh? No, I didn't even move to New
Hmm.
York at the time. My mother had moved, and my mom's a fag hag, so she hung around a lot of gays.
Right.
And when I came up to visit her, the gays kind of took me under their wing and said, "Bitch, let's take you to a ball." And I'm like, "A ball? What's the ball?" And baby, did I find out what a ball was that night? And I had a ball, no pun intended.
Okay. And the balls they are fun. They're long though. Ooh,
Yeah.
girl.
And I think you and I just went to a ball just last year and had us a fantastic time.
Yeah, yeah. The balls that be at the $3 bill. Cause the funny thing is, oh, I forget his name. But the person who created the balls at $3 bill on Monday nights, he's from Baltimore.
Get out of here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That bitch is from Baltimore. I forget her name right now. Oh, I'm so mad I can't remember her name right now. But she's from Baltimore. But she be hosting them little kiki balls. But the actual balls that they be doing during the weekend before Monday night, them bitches be long, long and pricey to get into. I'm like, oh girl, wait a minute.
Yeah, girl, they got to pay those winners somehow. They
They
got to
gotta
give out
pay
them
the
cash
grand
prizes.
prizes, okay?
But again, shout out. You know, honey, I have much, much love for Baltimore, and you think I am absolutely insane for being in love with y'all accents, but I can't help myself. I like what I like.
You like
So,
I
what you
just
like.
just want better for you at some point.
I don't want better. I want a man that says two and avenue and things like
The other day I was talking like that. I don't know what I did, something, but I was like, I was looking at a video on Twitter, and I was just like, oh, you are so fucking stupid. And as soon as I said stupid, I was like, oh my god, what is me, Baltimore? Get out,
You hear
baby, if I
yourself.
was around, I would be tickled.
You hear yourself doing it, huh?
child. I was so mad when I heard myself say stupid. I was like, not stupid. What am I talking
Stupid.
about? But I was so angry at that video. I was like, ugh, you so stupid.
I love it, honey. It's like music to my ears. Well, so again, shout out to Neombi. We can go ahead and get started with the tea, horny.
Oh, is it tea time?
It sure is, yes. But let's go ahead and get caught up with the Diddy trial. Let me pull up the CNN link and we'll get started. So they did not have court yesterday because of the Juneteenth holiday. I didn't even realize that when I was doing all those travel plans. Child, I didn't even know if it was Monday or Tuesday, honey. But yeah, yesterday was Juneteenth. They had a delay in court on Wednesday, and then they did not have court on Thursday. But they're back today, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Give me 1 second and let me share my screen. All right. and let me head down to the update. Make sure I ain't missing nothing. Oh, not my internet want to be bootleg this morning. Okay, there we go.
Child, even the
Okay,
internet
so
don't
here
know
it
what
goes. So
day it
how
is.
Wednesday's delay could impact the trial timeline. Hello. So the trial of Diddy was adjourned for the day Wednesday after one of the jurors called in sick, a move that potentially throws a major wrench in the scheduling of the trial. Oh, okay. So we know that they just dismissed juror number 6. I do remember some whispers about juror number 7. I wonder if juror number 7 was the one who called in. Anyway, let's find out. So Judge Abramian said he believes the jurors absent was a day one issue, but regardless, it does throw off the court's tight schedule. Sabramian has said since the start of the trial that he wants to be done by July 4th. Prosecutors were expected to rest their case today, but with Wednesday's delay, they likely won't be able to rest until sometime on Monday. Remember, court was closed Thursday for the Juneteenth holiday, and today is a pre-scheduled half day with court running from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The defense has said they expect to use between 2 and 5 trial days to make their case, and closing arguments will take additional time. Although, all of those steps need to happen before the jury begins deliberating, which makes for a tight schedule if we're aiming for a verdict before July 4th. Y'all ain't getting no verdict before July 4th. Y'all might as well hang that up flat screen, especially with a bunch of delays. And then y'all got a new alternate coming in after juror number 6 after all this time. So y'all can hang that up. Anyway, maybe they can be read about my man's birthday, which happens to be July 6th. But anyway,
Whatever.
enough about him.
Absolutely the hell not.
Whatever.
So the judge is back on the bench. Oh, okay. So judge denies defense request regarding sealed issue with juror. Okay, so Judge Sabramian denied a request from the defense team regarding a sealed issue as to a juror. Sabramian did not elaborate, so it was unclear what the request was. It says in the past week, defense lawyers and prosecutors addressed an issue about juror number 7. There we go. Under seal regarding communications with a former colleague about his juror service, according to a letter filed by the government. Ah, okay, so that's what it is. He's supposed allegedly talking about the case to a colleague or former colleague or
He
whatever.
gonna wind up in jail himself. He better shut up.
Okay, fuck around and find out. But just out of curiosity, so did any of you know? Because I know we didn't have or have a show around that time. But do y'all know why juror number 6 was excused and they brought the alternate in?
I
Well,
haven't
long
been
story
watching the
short.
case.
Well, yeah, we talked
Okay, well,
about
long
that
story short,
where they put him off because of his
Mhm.
location. That one you're talking about? He had moved.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So the judge, he looked at that information and said, maybe you are lying because why would you need to lie about your address? So maybe you were lying to try to get up on this case. So they dismissed him because of that. I truly think the defense said they dismissed him because he was one of 2 black jurors on there. I do think they dismissed him because he was black. So
Yeah, I mean, he probably didn't
anyway,
want to be on the jury, and he knew he was moving and didn't disclose it, even though he got the jury notice. I mean, they don't have notice of his address change that quick, so he got the notice, and he wanted to be on the jury. I get it, but so what?
yep.
He didn't do anything inappropriate after
Did he
that.
move far away?
He
No,
moved
he
out
moved
of
from the
the
Bronx to New
area
Jersey.
that would have the juror pool was called from.
Yeah.
Oh,
Moved away from that area, so
huh.
I don't think that makes that big a difference, to be honest.
Neither do I. Especially, I mean, you know how many people in Jersey live and work in New York? Like, who cares?
Yep.
Ooh, child.
I agree with y'all. But yeah, and then they try to bring it say, oh, he has they don't like his candor. That's the word they use, quote unquote candor of court. Yeah. So that kind of led me to believe that it's because he's a black man.
Candor.
Yeah, because what damn candor would he have? Jurors shouldn't be talking.
That, there you go. All right. So let's see. Let's move on to the former Combs assistant Brendan Paul to testify today. Okay, so that was one of his assistants. Brittany, he looked crazy as hell. Why he got on them glasses, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Straight out the Matrix, honey.
That's the one who wanted immunity, isn't it?
Yep. It
Mm-hmm.
is indeed. Yep. And I think he's what, the fifth person to testify under immunity in this trial. Don't go, but around the fourth or the fifth.
Yeah.
So he's on the stand. So Combs' assistant explains 2024 cocaine arrest. Brendan Paul said he worked as an assistant to Diddy from late 2022 after graduating college and stopped working for Diddy when he was arrested on March 25th of 2024 in the Miami airport. He said he was on his way to a family vacation with Diddy when he was arrested for possession of cocaine. It was in my Goyard bag for personal assistant duties. Paul said he was sweeping Diddy's room and grabbed the cocaine to put it somewhere else, but forgot to remove it from his own bag before leaving the trip. Okay, so he's stupid. Okay. Let's see. Uh, Next update. Former assistant testifies he knew going and working for Combs would be a tumultuous job. Well, duh. So Brendan Paul testifies he first heard about the opportunity to be Diddy's personal assistant from Ellie Maroon, one of Combs' former assistants. He told me to get in, to get out. If you have a girlfriend, break up with her, and you're never going to see your family, Paul testified. He said he understood Maroon was telling him that it was going to be a really tumultuous job that required all of my attention. And you only get paid from $60,000 to $80,000 a year. But anyway, Paul interviewed for the position in the fall of 2022 at Combs' Los Angeles homes. Before entering the home, he said he gave his ID to Combs' security guard and signed a non-disclosure agreement. And he then met with Christina Coram, Combs' former chief of staff, and Frankie Santella, Combs' music manager, for about 20 minutes. Paul said he started working for Combs a few days later. In his first few weeks on the job, Paul said he worked out of Combs' LA home and mainly received instructions from other assistants. Paul said he divided assistant duties with Combs' other personal assistants. Paul testified he helped handle Combs' travel logistics and packing and helped Combs with his fitness workout, meal plans, and music-related needs. Paul also said he would pack marijuana joints in Combs' garage. I know that's right. But I think from what we've read so far, Combs want something a little bit stronger than marijuana. But anyway, next update. Combs' former assistant says he worked up to 100 hours a week. Girl. Okay, so Brendan Paul, former assistant to Diddy, said he typically worked between 80 and 100 hours a week. He said he would usually work between 4 to 6 days a week, but he was always on call. His starting salary was $75,000 a year. He testified,
Oh
and
hell no!
he, yes, oh honey, he paid one girl. What was that? I forget the girl. He only started paying her what, 65,000 a year,
Yeah.
and had her doing double the work.
Yeah, she was always on call. Worked from
Mm-hmm.
sun up to the next sun up.
Yep. So he later did get a raise to 100,000. He testified he was paid by Combs Enterprises. Paul said he traveled frequently for work. He flew with Combs on his private jet 3 or 4 times, but he said he usually traveled separately so he could get there early and set up his rooms. So when you walked in, everything was seamless and he had everything he needed. Paul said sometimes other employees, like stylists and photographers, would travel early with him as well. When he traveled for work, Paul said Combs' travel manager would book his travel. Paul said the longest time period he worked without sleep was when they were in New York releasing Combs' latest album. Paul stayed awake for about 3 days, although he took some naps in between. I was young, so I was able to handle it, he said. Paul testified that he took prescription Adderall and the rare use of cocaine to help him stay awake and alert during his employment. He said he also smoked marijuana during his employment. And then remember, Paul previously invoked his Fifth Amendment on the stand. The jury was not present. Judge Arun Subramanian signed an immunity order compelling Paul to testify. Okay. So what's the next update? Combs wanted his assistants to operate like SEAL Team 6 for staff. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I can't.
This is so ridiculous.
Honey, child. And the crazy thing is, D, this is not even the craziest that we went over. This is actually pretty PG-13 compared to all of the other things that we've read. So anyway, Brendan Paul testified that his mission was to make sure Sean Diddy Combs was always happy. He said that Combs told his assistants they should operate like SEAL Team 6. Paul said Combs fired him 2 or 3 times, and he testified about one incident that sticks out in his memory. In late October or early November of 2023, Paul testified that he forgot Combs' Lululemon fanny pack for when he. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bitch, you know I love my Lulu.
And apparently so does Diddy. So he forgot his Lululemon fanny pack when he wanted to go for a walk. That's when Combs told Paul, "I don't want to see your face. Call KK and tell her you're fired," Paul said. Paul recalled that Combs' former chief of staff, Christina Coram, told him to lay low. Soon after, she sent Paul to set up Combs' London hotel room around Combs' birthday that year. Combs never discussed the incident with him again. Paul also said it wasn't a thing to talk to human resources about any issues. He said if anyone had an issue, they went to Combs or Karan.
Human resources? Who was that?
Christina.
Okay, she was the chief of staff and human resources, honey.
Oh, child.
Also, how the hell you gonna tell somebody, go tell this person you're fired? Bitch, what are you talking about?
Fire yourself.
Child, we know this man is very egregious, honey. So he very audacious, very egregious. So anything he does at this point.
Pathologic, all of that.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. What's the next update? Assistant testifies to buying drugs for Combs. So Brendan Paul, Combs' former assistant, testified he saw Combs use drugs, including cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, and marijuana about once a month. But there were other times he seemed high. The jury saw a photo Paul took early in his employment of ecstasy of a powder form of ecstasy in a powder form of ketamine and Molly that was dyed pink for the aesthetic, according to Paul's testimony. Paul said Combs or another assistant would tell him to obtain drugs from Combs. He testified he would buy marijuana about every 2 months, paying $4,200 for 16 ounces.
Whoa.
Let me do my math. Is that good? I'm trying to see, because usually an ounce you could probably get like an ounce for, if you know somebody, maybe from between $180, $200. So I don't know. Maybe he's overpaying.
Primo.
He getting that celebrity premium.
Yeah.
That rapper weed.
That real gas.
I want some. Anyway. He said he purchased the marijuana from Philip Pines, one of Combs' previous assistants. Dang, done threw Paul under the bus. Threw Philip under the bus. Okay. So Paul said he bought other drugs for Combs fewer than 10 times. He testified he would sometimes pay about $300 to $500 for 1 or 2 grams of drugs, and other times he would pick up packages without paying for them himself. On some occasions, Paul texted a drug dealer, and they would come to Combs' homes to deliver the drugs. The jury saw messages between Paul, a drug dealer, and another Combs assistant, Jonathan Perez, from February 2024. Paul testified that Perez put him in touch with the dealer to obtain drugs for Combs. "Is this for you or Puff?" the dealer asked in the messages. "Puff," Paul responded, according to messages read aloud in court. "Please don't disclose that. You could tell whoever it's for me." Paul said once he received drugs, he would give them directly to Combs or put them in the Gucci pouch where the drugs were stored. Okay, so he wanted his Lululemon fanny pack for walking, but he wanted his Gucci pouch for the good shit.
That's some rich shit, bitch.
Wake it up, okay? Paul testified he would pick up prescription drugs for Combs at pharmacies under Combs' real names or the alias Frank Black. Remember that name. The jury saw messages Combs sent Paul in February 14, 2024, asking him to get Xanax. Paul testified that Combs didn't have a prescription for Xanax and he wasn't able to obtain the drugs. I know that pissed him off. Okay. Next update. Paul testified Wild King night stopped at hotels after Cassie Ventura filed the lawsuit. So Brendan Paul said Sean Diddy Combs, former chief of staff Christina Coram, didn't really want him involved in Wild King nights. for some reason, but he set up and cleaned up a few times while he worked for Combs. Karam called them Wild King nights, Paul said. So far we have what freak offs, hotel nights, king nights, and now Wild King nights. So Paul said he only recalled Jane, one of Combs' accusers, participating in Wild King nights with Combs during his tenure with Combs. Paul testified his understanding of Wild King nights to include partying, alcohol, sex, and drugs. These nights were at hotels during the beginning of his time with Combs, Paul testified, but Combs stopped holding him at hotels after Cassie's lawsuit. And then it says, remember, Cassie, the singer and actress that first detailed years of abuse allegations in a lawsuit filed against her ex-boyfriend Combs in November 2023. The two quickly settled their claim, but dozens of other civil lawsuits against Combs and a federal criminal indictment followed in the subsequent 18 months. The jury saw an iPhone note that was scheduled for February 2023 that Paul said Karam created. The schedule was for the time around Jane's visit to Miami to see Combs for her birthday. The schedule says be ready for Wild King night at her hotel, and most likely Wild King Day continued at hotel for the following day. Remember, Jane testified that Combs gave her the impression that there would be no hotel nights on that trip. Mm. So next update, former assistant describes how he would set up a room for Combs before a Wild King night. Brenda Paul, former assistant for Diddy, testified that when he set up for a Wild King night, he would ensure the room had baby oil, alcohol, small toiletries, and extra sheets and towels. So this is pretty much consistent with all the other assistants as well.
Oh, the 1,000 bottles, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then how many? I forgot the number, chill. But what didn't they find like 900 bottles of KY jelly or personal lubricant?
Yeah,
Child.
the storage area. He had a whole CVS full.
Mm-hmm. He like this shit like greasy. He wanted to slip like butter, honey. So he said the assistant shared a list that included all the items needed to pick up for those nights. Paul said he often obtained supplies through Combs' property managers. He said if he paid for supplies with his personal credit card, he was reimbursed through Combs' financial personnel. Paul said he once provided Combs with $5,000 cash before a Wild King night, and he said he got the cash from security. He testified that another assistant told him once he left cash in an envelope at the front. Told him once he left cash in an envelope at the front desk of a hotel. Paul said Combs would sometimes contact him during a Wild King audio message or FaceTime. The jury saw photos of outfits from a sex shop that Paul sent to Combs. Paul testified that Combs had asked him to run to the store while he was with Jane, but Combs never responded after Paul sent the picture of the outfits. Oh, he probably sent him like a corny ass maid outfit or some shit. Anyway, next update: Paul wore gloves to clean up after Combs' hotel nights. Well, thank God for that. So, former assistant Brenda Paul cleaned up hotel rooms after Combs' Wild King nights about 3 or 4 times. He testified the rooms were in disarray, and he would put towels and sheets into a pile and throw out empty bottles of baby oil and liquor. Paul said he wore gloves during the cleanup for sanitary reasons. I'm sorry. One time, Paul saw a white powder that he believed was drug residue. He testified. The jury saw a photo of a hotel room with sheets covering the furniture. Paul testified that he sent the photo to Combs' travel manager to give her a heads up that there might be some damage charges. And if y'all remember, we know that he did pay one hotel in New York, I forget which one, but paid them for almost $47,000 for damages. So this man went into a room and fucked it up. Okay. Next update, Paul testifies he didn't tell law enforcement cocaine wasn't his because of loyalty to Combs. The jury saw a selfie of Diddy, his former chief of staff, Christina Coram, and his former assistant, Brandon Paul, on a private jet taken on March 25th of 2024, before Paul was arrested for cocaine possession at the Miami OPA LACA Executive Airport. They were about to take off on a flight to the Bahamas for a vacation with Combs' family, Paul said. Paul testified he hasn't seen or spoken to Combs basically since that photo was taken. Paul didn't tell law enforcement the cocaine wasn't his that day. When asked why, Paul said loyalty. Paul testified that the charges against him related to the incident were dropped because I have a really good lawyer. He completed over 20 drug classes and submitted random drug testing, Paul said. Defense attorney Brian Steele is now cross-examining Paul. Oh Lord.
Oh my
So come
God. He took the hit at the
yes.
Opalaka airport, child.
He took
Ooh.
don't even, and then he didn't. Well, according to this, he didn't even smoke or drink until he started working for Combs.
Okay. And then he started taking cocaine himself just to stay awake. Mm, the
Yep.
scandal.
So the next update, Combs' ex-assistant says handling drugs was only a minor part of his work. So defense attorney Brian Steele started his cross-examination of Diddy, former assistant Brendan Paul, by asking him about his background. Steele mentioned that Paul walked onto the Syracuse University basketball team. Paul confirmed that he works hard and strives for perfection. He said he was willing to work long hours for Combs and learned from the exposure he got to the music industry through Combs. Handling drugs was a minor part of all the work he did for Combs. You were not some drug mule, right? Defense attorney Brian Steele asked. Absolutely not, Paul responded. Paul said he believed the drugs he obtained were just for Combs' personal use. Steele asked if Paul thought Wild King nights were also personal for Combs. I considered it to be like an escape, Paul testified, confirming that he believed it was Combs' personal time to be alone with Jane. Paul testified that he often spoke with Jane, one of Combs' accusers, before a Wild King night and almost every time afterwards. He confirmed that he never saw anything that made him think she was hesitant or not a willing participant. Okay, next update. Paul said his heart dropped when agent discovered cocaine in his travel bag. I bet. So during his cross examination, Brian Steele asked former assistant Brendan Paul about his arrest on March 25th of 2024. Paul confirmed his arrest was for a small amount of cocaine for Combs' personal use that Paul had accidentally left in his travel bag. Neither Combs nor Chief of Staff Karina Coram asked him to travel with the cocaine, Paul testified. Paul recalled telling law enforcement that everything in the bag was his, and then his heart dropped when the agent pulled the cocaine out of the bag because he didn't mean to travel with it. See, now this is what I don't like. This is where that reasonable doubt comes in, and this is why I think Diddy has a really good chance of either walking or getting like a really small sentence because of this right here.
Well, but he was cleaning up after, a wild night and put it in his bag to take it out of the hotel room. They He wasn't procuring the drug at that time. Thank God it wasn't one of the
Hmm.
times he was actually bringing him drugs, because that would have been harder, to get out of.
Yep. Yes, indeed. What's the next update? Former assistant says working for Combs was good for the most part. That's what pretty much everybody who worked under him says. It was good until it wasn't. So anyway, defense attorney Brian Steele asked Brendan Paul if he would work for a criminal. Absolutely not, Paul testified. Steele asked Paul if he felt indebted to Combs for all the experiences he received working for him. I guess. What do you mean by indebted? Paul responded. Steele asked if Paul had learned a lot from Combs, and Paul confirmed he had. Steele then asked if he had good experiences working for Combs. For the most part, Paul responded. Steele's cross examination is over, and prosecutor Christy Slavic will question Paul on redirect soon. Okay, what's the next update? Former assistant says his feelings towards Combs are complicated. So on redirect, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic asked Combs' former personal assistant, Brendan Paul, what he believed was taking place during Wild King nights. There was sex happening and partying, Paul responded. Paul confirmed that he was not present in the hotel room, so he did not know definitely if anything illegitimate was happening. Sitting here today, how do you feel about Mr. Combs? Slavic asked. It's complicated, Paul said before he was excused from the witness stand. Okay, so what's the next update? You treat me like a hooker, to be honest, Cassie says in text to Combs. So the jury saw messages between Diddy and his former girlfriend Cassie between March 12th and 14th of 2017. Combs sent Ventura a hotel room number and then told her to call him. Hours later, Ventura texted him, "What the fuck? Really? I think it'll always be black and white. You threw out all of my shit." In later messages, she said, "You, my best friend, in. Um, excuse me, what best friend? You beat my head in." Later correcting it to beat. You're crazy, Combs responded. "Let's stop talking. You dead wrong. Flipping on me for what?" "Ain't flipping. I can come back so we can talk, but you know I fight," Ventura texted him. In later messages, Combs said, "So we're clear this time. We're taking a break. This is really how you want to leave this? You sure?" No, I just don't want to be beat down for being defiant or ever," Ventura responded. "You treat me and make me feel like I don't matter." "You started all of this," Combs wrote in part. "I guess I'm not down with abuse. It doesn't make sense to me," Ventura texted him. She later wrote, "You hit me in my head 2 good times. That didn't make me feel good. I know I'm not crazy. I'm hurt. You have disrespected me so much in the last 12 months," Combs responded in part. Oh my God. This motherfucker is a world class narcissist, honey.
He is
Okay,
insane.
he really is. So, wow, you think you talking? Who you think you talking to on one of your little fuck boys? They can have you with that shit. I'm not talking no more. Okay. Later in the conversation, Combs asked Ventura if she had ever gotten numbers for female escorts. Ventura texted Combs on March 18th of 2017, "You're at a point in your life where you want to party and have a good time, and I have to focus or I'll never become anything." She also wrote, "I had so much fun in Miami then. I realized I opened the door for that being my sole purpose in seeing you. I knew if I said no to it in New York, it would have been a problem," she continued. Ooh, I'm glad they got that documented. You treat me like a hooker to be honest. You always want to call one and you have one. This hooker has been here for 10 years. Combs responded, "Wow. Please don't play victim. If you go to our last message, that's all you wanted and that's why I was upset," Ventura wrote. I love our freak offs when we both want it." Okay. Court is on a short break. And then, okay, so before the break, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson showed the jury a text thread between Ventura and Combs from May 2nd of 2017. Ventura said in part, "You get fucked up. You drag me down the hall by my hair. I'm 30 years old. This isn't play anymore." She also said, "I was scared of your rage. I talk out of line sometimes and I do apologize, but that doesn't mean I don't love you and your love shouldn't equate to what you do for me. Physicalities take it somewhere else. Boris had to tackle you, Puff. That's not love, that's possession. I have bleeding cuts." Combs told Ventura she was unappreciative for a night he planned for her and said, "I'm not going to let someone shit on me when all I've done is be nice." He wrote, "Any other woman in the world would have been so happy. And you're whack for not keeping it real when I and everyone knows you were acting like a bitch." Combs told Ventura, "You need to ask someone how you were acting," and said, "Talk to your people. They'll tell you or they won't because all they do is suck you. KK won't. Talk to her." Ventura also texted Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram. "I'm sure you don't want to get involved, but he said I was an asshole, which I owned up to, but no one deserves being dragged by the hair. I locked the door for my safety." Mm-mm. Next update, the jury's back hearing more messages, and prosecutors call their next witness. It says a special agent for Homeland Security Investigations, Joseph Cerciello, is now on the stand. Cerciello, who was not involved in the case, reviewed charts of evidence compiled by the prosecutors to confirm the information in the charts correspond with the underlying exhibits, which include thousands of pages of text messages as well as phone and financial records. Okay. Says agents' testimony focused on chart with 44 entries from May of 2021 to August of 2024. So, honey, Joseph Cerciello, a special agent from Homeland Security Investigations, explained the chart includes the location, individuals' names, and transportation records associated with different date ranges. Cerciello is reviewing charts of evidence compiled by the prosecutors to confirm the information in the charts correspond with the underlying exhibits, which include thousands of pages of text messages as well as phone and financial records, which we just read. He said the 44 entries on the chart range from May of 2021 to August of 2024, and the only woman's name on the chart here is Jane, one of the accusers in the case. He said before accuser Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was filed, most of the locations were hotels. After her lawsuits were filed, most of them, after the lawsuit were filed, none of them were at hotels. Cerciello said there were three of these events after Combs posted an Instagram video on May 19th of 2024. Remember, Combs apologized for physically assaulting his then girlfriend Ventura 2 days after CNN published exclusive hotel surveillance footage from 2016 in which Combs appeared to grab, shove, drag, and kick her. Cerciello testified that the charts do not include every time Jane or Combs were at a particular location, but these were the instances with documentation to support it. Remember, the chart Cerciello is testifying is similar to the chart Delisa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, testified about. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey reviewed the charts that pertains to Jane and records that the government says show she met with Combs and a third party. The jury saw records for a trip in December of 2021. The chart shows flight records for flights to Miami for Jane and an entertainer called Sly. Hotel records for the St. Regis Ball Harbor show a charge for $6,000 in damages. The chart also references text messages between Jane and Sly coordinating his arrival in Miami. Boy, this is a lot, hun. So the next update, hotel records detail damage left after Combs stays. Okay, so Joseph Cerciello, a special agent for Homeland Security investigations, testified that he reviewed documents related to a hotel stay that Diddy had in Los Angeles in January of 2023. Hotel records showed the room was reserved under the name Joseph Chavez and included a $750 charge for damaged furniture. A report from the hotel said there were bodily fluids stained on the wood floor, across the entire room and on some of the furniture. What the hell? Okay. I'm trying to say, I mean, I know like bodily fluids leave a stain, but it
No.
stains the wood floor.
It's giving blood, baby.
Okay. Thank you, boo. Okay. Yeah. So the evidence chart referenced some of Combs' text messages with Jane, one of his accusers who's using a pseudonym in this trial. The messages show the two coordinating the arrival of three men at a hotel. One of those men deposited $1,500 cash at ATMs in Los Angeles in the days following the hotel reservation. The jury also saw a message Combs sent to Jane telling her to send $1,100 to Cowboys for Angels, an escort service for flights and an overnight rate. Records in the summary chart reflect that Jane and Combs stayed at the London Hotel in Los Angeles in April of 2023. Tests between Combs and an entertainer documented in the chart suggest the entertainer joined them at the hotel. After that hotel stay, Combs was charged. That was a tongue twister. Combs was charged $1,800 for damaged furniture, and linens. A security incident report filed about the damage said there were linen damage and smoking in the room. The report in part said the room towels appear to be soaked in baby oil, and baby oil is in the carpet as well. Let's see. We have more updates. Let me finish that here.
Spraying baby oil, wasn't he? Like he must have been just throwing that shit around the room like you do a bottle of champagne when you wanted to squirt.
He probably put the shit in water guns and was shooting it out like in the Nerf guns or something like that, for real.
Shooting them on them while they was having sex and freaking
Then the next update, it says note detailing Combs' personal expenses was shown to the jury. So the jury was shown a note recovered from a phone of Combs' head of security, Fahim Muhammad, on April 25th of 2024, stating $5,000 PD personal London. So the jury has seen evidence that Muhammad kept track of some spending reimbursement for Combs' personal cash expenses. And then the Combs' jury is dismissed for the day. All right. So let me see. Let me just read this. Defense attorney Mark Agnafilo said at this point he believes defense will rest Tuesday or Wednesday. So pretty much everybody expects to rest their case sometime soon. Um, and there we go. That's all for Wolf Child. I mean, that was a lot, but still compared to like the stuff that we've read previously, honey, this was pretty mild. So, but yeah, woo. But I think I personally think again, don't listen to what my opinion is really holds no weight because my knowledge of the law is learned through watching Law Order SVU. But from what I've seen, it does look like that the prosecution has proved racketeering and stuff like that. But the way that they prove it, it looks like it's big because what Judge Mathis confirmed, it looks very low level. So he definitely would get some time, but it won't be much.
It won't be R. Kelly time.
No. Mm-mm. But could be, honey. I mean, hell, because they
Who knows? The prosecution, I think they've been a little weak. They not coming as strong as they need to be to put him away for a long time.
oh no, I disagree, bro. They definitely was. They was because what they did, they tied into a lot of shit that we don't know about, and like a lot of laws that we didn't know about. Like, for example, why they tying it into the racketeering and stuff, because he actually, you remember that alias Frank Black that we just read in this case?
Uh-huh.
So Diddy was using that alias Frank Black to get prescription drugs or recreational drugs like Xanax and all that for these.
Right.
You know that's illegal. You can't get no prescription drugs. He was using some kind of a doctor on call service, and they were letting him use the name Frank Black. He also was paying these sex workers and transporting them across state lines, paying them for sex.
Right. 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 Right.
So
Right. Right.
they proved it.
I mean, I wonder how much time that's gonna give him.
According to Judge Mathis, he said he believes it'll be probably 1 year of Fed time. But he also
1 year.
1 year of Fed time. But what he also said is like a lot of these charges are state related charges, and the problem with that is the statute of limitations have expired on them, so they can't go after him. But if the statute of limitations were not an issue, he would certainly do 5 to 10 years of state time.
Yeah, because he need to be doing a lot more time than damn 1 year. 1 year of federal
Mhm.
prison ain't enough.
I agree.
Yeah,
Well, that's enough
they,
on Diddy. I guess we'll revisit this on Monday.
they could
Does anybody want to
they could give him
add
time to
anything?
serve if he's been in jail for so long.
Pretty
Well,
much.
don't say that, chill. No, he ain't serving no damn time. I don't remember him being in jail post or pre this trial. Absolutely not.
You don't even remember him celebrate his birthday in jail, Christmas in jail, none of that.
No, no,
I don't
no.
remember it.
Completely completely forgettable. I haven't even heard of it. Did he's in jail? That's crazy. I didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get all 365 days. Hell, they need to make it 366 for a leap year.
You a mess. Well, let's talk about another creep, honey. The next story, Fat Joe, his fat ass. I told y'all I didn't see it for him. I am not a fan, and I told he
But
oversteps a lot. But
he a black man too? Didn't they come out recently that he ain't black?
exactly, I don't even know why they thought he was in the first place. But okay, like this not even an Afro Latino conversation. This man has no Afro in his Latino, so I don't know where they hold. They just wanted him to be able to say nigga without persecution. That's all that
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
But now his ass is getting sued by a former hype man for being a creep. And when I tell you, I'm not surprised in the least bit. But let's talk about it. I just shared this link from Variety, and y'all see where it says here: Fat Joe's $20 million lawsuit. Let me. No, I'm not allowing no ads. Okay. So Fat Joe's sued by $20 million by former hype man in explosive complaint and alleges rapper engaged in sex acts with minors and coerced him into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing. Mm-mm. No, fat ass. Fat ass with a big ass head looking like old Walmart Bratz doll. Honey, I can't stand this fucker. Anyway, Fat Joe's former hype man, Terrence T.A. Dixon, has filed an explosive lawsuit in federal court against the rapper on Thursday. Dixon is alleging that his former boss, whose real name is Joseph Antonio Cartagena, engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion. Dixon adds that the hip hop star behind such chart toppers as What's Love got rich and famous while he and his associates deliberately suppressed, silenced, and erased Dixon's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to Fat Joe's professional success and personal brand. He is seeking up to $20 million in damages. The complaint, filed in U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York, details so many disturbing claims about Fat Joe's alleged sexual relations with women, including minors, that it contains a trigger warning on the first page of the 157-page document. For 16 years, Dixon served as Fat Joe's so-called hype man, a common figure in hip hop who supports the artist by energizing the crowd and enhancing the overall performance. He also contributed as a lyricist and background vocalist on such hits as Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Bitches. According to the complaint, he had an unrivaled vantage point to observe the rapper's offstage lifestyle and behavior. Excuse me. Dixon is represented by Tyrone Blackburn, who is also the lead counsel in a high profile case against Sean Diddy Combs. In February 2024, Blackburn filed a lawsuit on behalf of Diddy accuser Lil Rodney, alleging sexual assault, sexual harassment, and failure to pay his underling. Excuse me. 1 month later, the Department of Homeland Security agents conducted raids at Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami, which we know about. Dixon states in the complaint that Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused compliance. By his own estimation, Dixon states in the suit that he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. Most shockingly, the suit claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old. And at least three such Jane Does, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York, who, in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, will perform oral sex and other sexual acts on the rapper. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female and not a United States citizen. Fat Joe began having sexual relations with Minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Defendant flew Minor Doe number 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to Minor Doe 2's body being adolescent and not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Girl. Minor Doe 2 eventually left defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. The complaint says Minor Doe 3 is a Latina female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. According to Dixon, defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He bought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife. Oh, child, the lawsuit states. In a recorded conversation, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. Fat Joe is represented by celebrity criminal attorney Joe Tacopina, who has defended everyone from ASAP Rocky and Donald Trump in high-profile cases. Tacopina responded to the lawsuit, saying in a statement to Variety, the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation. A desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first, which exposed their coordinated scheme to extort Mr. Cartagena through lies, threats, and manufactured allegations. Law enforcement is aware of the extraordinary demand at the heart of this scheme. The allegations against Mr. Cartagena are complete fabrications, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Mr. Cartagena will not be intimidated. We have taken legal action to expose his fraudulent campaign and hold everyone involved accountable. The statement continued. Defendants in the suit also include Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Rich Player Jospatry. I'm sure I said his last name wrong, who the complainant refers to as key associates in Fat Joe's criminal enterprise, asserting civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act and the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, also known as Civil RICO, as well as related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum meruit, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. The suit additionally names Jay-Z's Roc Nation, claiming that the company, which represents Fat Joe, knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalty interests, and sought to intimidate, harass, and obstruct the Hype's man legitimate claims against Fat Joe, Torres, and Just Sprite. Or just,
He can't catch a break, huh? He just his name
hun,
keeps coming up everywhere.
hello. Hey, you remember what what's the name? Daystar said? Daystar said it about Rock Nation. You will crumble. Anyway, according to the lawsuits, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes in an effort to conceal their extensive wage theft, artificially inflate distance tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the exploited labor. The complaint cites a whistleblower accountant who came forward last year, as well as recorded phone calls that help paint the picture of the alleged misdeeds. The move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming that the Bronx-born rapper, who enjoys high-level political connections, flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines for sex. The suit also named Dixon's lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, claiming the pair tried to shake him down for a settlement. This is the right way to fight Joe, through the system. You can't tell him no other way. Dixon tells Variety in an exclusive interview. Joe thinks he's God. Joe thinks he's untouchable. Dixon's suit against Fat Joe goes much further than this social media post and states that he endured a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionism, and surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex under observation, being filmed, or directed by Fat Joe in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control the plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. It adds these sex-based abusers were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation, enforced by defendants' associates such as Pistol Pete and JB and others, um, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. Ooh, child. In Thursday's complaint, Dixon claims that the activity took place on Market America's corporate yacht and at its mansion properties, where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated orgies involving plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. Defendant used the lawsuit adds that Fat Joe used his status as a hip hop star to compel Dixon and others into degrading sexual performances, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed encounters. These incidents occurred under the conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendants' management entourage, yet no intervention occurred, supporting the um, inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. The complaint continues. Dixon did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, plaintiffs submitted solely out of fear of immediate retaliation, which defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. The suit claims that Fat Joe also availed death threats and witness intimidation via direct messages such as, "You love your family, right? Fall back in 48 hours, and we let you live." Mm-mm. Though Fat Joe a hobnob with some of the biggest names in politics, including then Vice President Kamala Harris, there was at least one brush with scandal back in 2010. He and members of his entourage were detained and questioned after a University of Wisconsin student reported an alleged sexual assault following a performance at the city's Orpheum Theater. At the time, Fat Joe's attorney called the woman a pretender groupie who was attempting to shake down the rapper for money. Mm-mm. You know what? I believe everything this man is saying about Fat Joe.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
you
a
know,
whole lot of information to be fabricated.
hmm I believe he's absolutely right. I absolutely do believe. Now, first he made waves and used Rock Nation and because now let me just start off by saying Jay-Z ain't got nothing to do with this. This is Rock Nation we're talking about. But the people who control finances at Rock Nation and stuff, I do believe that they had an orchestrated a scheme to make sure that this man didn't get his money. He said that he was um pretty a big player in Fat Joe, like in the studio, helping him write rhymes and stuff. Only to not for him to not get any writer credits and stuff like that. Then he said that Fat Joe was just like Diddy, honey. He likes to watch people have sex, and instead of just like paying people, to fulfill his desires, he want to force people to do shit because he thinks he's God.
That power move shit.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, people who have this kind of money often get these God complexes when they realize that people will do things for you because you have money. Um, and but not only that, you don't want the people that willingly do it. You want to force people to do it so that you show you have ultimate power over them. It gets to that point for a lot of them. So yeah, motherfuckers, this
Mm-hmm.
is a big problem. I mean, he's probably not, definitely not, probably not, definitely not the only one doing this shit. These wild freak offs and king night parties and whatever they call them. I bet, honey, honey, if it could all be exposed, we would be surprised. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how many rumors have come down about, athletes and others who do this kind of thing, sex orgies. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
And the people that love him, like TD Jakes, allegedly. Let me stop.
Yes, allegedly. Magic Johnson, allegedly.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Whole lot of athletes. It's like, you get used to people kissing your ass because you have money. And then you try to see, well, if they can kiss my ass, what can I make them do? You know, that's too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Hey,
Tyler
Moon.
Perry, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out. It's look, poor Smokey Robinson. I mean, the people are coming forward. The stuff's been going on for years since Christ walked the earth. I mean, really, sexual
Mm-hmm.
assault and abuse of power, exerting power over people, has been a thing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, particularly when it comes to women and children. So, yeah, none of this surprises me.
It makes two of us, girl. Well, I'm just sitting back and I'm just smiling from ear to ear, honey, because his downfall is coming. I've been waiting for them to cancel Fat Joe's ass for years, honey. Especially when his ass, it just did not sit right. When we were, first of all, you have these, and then he really does overstep his position in black culture. Like, remember that time he tried to come out and telling us that we shouldn't use, telling black people that they shouldn't use the N word in their music. Nigga, you shouldn't be using the N word in your music. We seen your baby pictures, honey. Like I said, there's no afro in that Latino. So that's that on that. Does anybody want to add anything on his fat ass before we go to the next story?
Oh no, I hope he loses all his money. Fuck him. Let's move on.
Wake it up.
Take it to court. We'll see you in court, baby.
Exactly. Well, speaking of court, honey, Chris Brown, he done filed not guilty over there in London.
Mm.
Him and his accomplice, Hoodie Baby, both of them done filed pled not guilty.
Now, what was the assault charge for? Who they
They
assaulted?
they beat the hell out of this man in the club. And Chris hit him over the head with a bottle, allegedly. Him and this UK rapper named Hoodie Baby.
Oh, and he pleaded not guilty. Chris Brown is known for being violent.
Very much
He
so.
is he is a violent, unhealthy, mentally unstable individual.
Very that. Do you remember hearing about a story where he flew over to man chest on his private jet, and as soon as he landed, they arrested his ass. It was because of that assault that happened in, I forgot when it happened. Was it 2023?
Mm.
Yeah, they waited for his ass to come back. He left the country after that, and he came
Oh,
back
he
for a
tried to sneak
concert.
out and
He
thought
came,
that he could come back and they
yeah,
wouldn't remember.
and as soon as he got off the plane, click click.
Love it. Love it.
Hello. Well, he's saying he didn't do it, honey. So, U.S. singer Chris Brown has pled not guilty to an assault charge after an alleged bottle attack at a London nightclub 2 years ago.
Ain't there
The
video
36,
of him doing it?
I don't think so, because I feel like if there was video, we probably would have seen it by now.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, let's see. The 36-year-old is accused of attempting to cause grievously body harm (GBH) to a music producer, Abraham Diar, during an incident that prosecutors have described as unprovoked. Brown also faces charges of assault, occasioning actual body. It's a tongue twister. Occasioning actual bodily harm and having an offensive weapon, namely a tequila bottle. Both relate to the same incident and were added to his indictment ahead of Friday's hearing. The judge adjourned arraignment on those two counts, meaning Brown will not have to enter a plea until the 11th of July. He will face trial for GBH on the 26th of October in 2026. Oh, wow. Well, make sure you take your ass over there to go to trial, boy. Anyway, the U.S. singer appeared at a Southwark Crown Court to deny the charge of attempting to cause grievously bodily harm hours after playing to thousands of fans at Cardiff's Principality Stadium. Wearing an ocean blue suit and black rimmed glasses, the musician was silent as he walked past a large group of photographers when he arrived at court on Friday morning. 5 or 6 fans were outside the court to offer their support, more crowded into the courtroom to watch the proceedings. After taking the dock, Brown smiled and winked to a woman in the courtroom while waiting for his honor, Judge Baumgartner, to arrive. He confirmed the name and date of his birth, May 5th of 1979, a Taurus. Keep that in mind. Before the judge asked his plea on the charge, attempting to cause grievous bodily harm. Not guilty, ma'am, Brown replied. Brown's co-defendant, Amalalu Akinlulu, a 39-year-old American who performs under the name Hoodie Baby, also entered a not guilty plea to the charge of attempted grievous bodily harm. So that's Chris, and this is Hoodie Baby. So Brown
They
was
going to
arrested.
jail.
Hello. Brown was arrested at the 5-star Lowry Hotel in Salford, Greater Manchester last month after arriving in the UK to prepare for a string of European tour dates. He was held in custody for almost a week before being released after agreeing to pay £5 million, £5 million security fee to the court. A security fee is a financial guarantee to ensure a defendant returns to court. Mr. Brown could be asked to forfeit the money if he breaches bail conditions. Oh, he gonna take that so he gonna get that £5 million back to go to court. Anyway, let's see. Under those conditions, Mr. Brown must live at an address in the UK while awaiting trial and was ordered to surrender his passport to police. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. However, a plan was put in place allowing him to honor his Breezy Bowl 20 World Tour dates by surrendering his passport but getting it back when he needs to travel for the gigs. The first date took place in Amsterdam on June 8th, and the UK leg kicked off last weekend. On the first night in Manchester on Sunday, he thanked fans for coming and supporting me. And thank you to the jail, he joked, referring to his spell in custody. It was really nice. Keep his ass in there. Anyway, Mr. Brown is one of the biggest stars in U.S. R&B with 2 Grammy Awards and 19 top singles in the UK, including hits like Turn Up the Music, Freaky Friday, With You, and Don't Wake Me Up. Last week, he won the prize for Best Male R&B Pop Artist at the BET Awards in Los Angeles. His former partner of pop star Rihanna, his latest tour celebrates the 20th anniversary of his self-titled debut album. Outlining the case against him last month, prosecutors said the alleged victim, Abraham Dial, was standing at the bar of Soho's Tape nightclub on 19th of February of 2023 when Mr. Brown launched an unprovoked attack in which the complainant was struck several times with a tequila bottle. She said the defendant then pursued him to a separate area of the nightclub where the victim was punched and kicked repeatedly by him and another. I guess the another is Hoodie Baby. Brown will follow his court appearance with 2 dates at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this weekend. His next hearing will take place. Will take two. I'm sorry. His next hearing will take two place once the European leg of his tour wraps up. I'm sure. I'm sure they probably didn't mean to put this word here. So his next hearing will take place once the European leg of his tour wraps up. Girl, I guess. So,
I
from what
want to
I'm understanding,
put like a do not travel alert on him, because if they're letting him do the European tour, right? Europe's a massive continent, so he could go to another country outside of the UK, wrap up his tour, and then try to fly back to the States so he doesn't have to show up to court.
But he forfeit
mhm.
the £5 million.
Hmm.
That's a lot of money even in U.S. dollars.
There is a lot of money in US dollars, and I don't know Chris Brown to be stupid rich to not care about that.
He got money, but what, approximately $5 million-ish is a lot of money for him.
Let me ask Siri. Convert £5 million to US dollars.
It'll probably be around like 6.7 something.
Bitch, you know your money, honey, because it says 6,734. Like, bitch, you so 6.7, just like you said.
And Chris Brown's estimated net worth is 50 million. So I mean that's like a tenth of his worth.
Yeah,
You
that's a big
know, so I don't know if he's willing to give that up just because he don't want to show up in court. But he feels, I feel like he the type to flee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did
think you're
flee,
right.
but he had enough nerve to he had the nerve to go back and
He
try
was
to
stupid
come.
enough to come back.
Yeah, he
Hmm.
should have set no concerts dates over there. He wouldn't be in this position. But he was cocky and thought I guess they forgot about it. After he left town after assaulting that man, he figured, oh, it's over. It's been a couple of years. I haven't heard nothing. Oh, sure. Yeah, you want me to come do some dates over there? I,
Collected him right at the airport.
mm, no, they let him get to the hotel, put his bags up.
Okay.
They said, "Get comfortable, baby.
Yeah,
You here for a while."
yeah, yeah. You gonna be here for a while. Yeah, they let him get his
Oh, no,
bag.
there's been an update. We're going to transfer your room.
Oh, it has a much better lock on the door. We want you to be safe.
Okay.
Mm. Now he's stuck, like Chuck. I don't feel bad for his ass at all. A lot of people saying he's seen Rihanna and who's that other girl, Karuchi, whose ass he beat mercilessly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if they haven't, they forgiven him. Why y'all still mad? Like, because that's in the past for them, and they smiled at him when they saw him in person. Like, what are they? I wouldn't care if they got back together. It's always up and stuck for a lot of people with this violent ass motherfucker.
Yep. And I'm one of those people, honey. This man could go around and probably like be a youth mentor and everything. Be like, I did it in my past. I don't do that anymore. And he
Wouldn't
could
care.
probably do the work, and I still wouldn't believe him.
Wouldn't care at all.
And he's never tried to do the work with all that cocaine and them other drugs he been taking. He ain't shit. He ain't never been shit. And you know what? The thing about it is Rihanna and Karuchi forgave that man for them.
For them,
Because
right?
forgiveness is for yourself. They
Right.
don't really give a shit about that man. They had to forgive him for themselves so they could move on.
Yeah.
And
Not on
Rihanna's in a
Clubhouse.
healthy relationship,
Right.
having 3 kids with her gangster dude who out there shooting up people. So she in a whole nother situation where she like she like them bad boys that be ready to on the brink of beating her ass. I just don't think that ASAP ever put a finger on her, but she
No.
know that ASAP will put a trigger on somebody. So
Yeah.
that's her life. And I don't know who Karuchi dating, but that he probably got a what is it? Uh, uh He might be a little violent too. I don't know. We didn't figure out who Karuchi dating. That's
Yeah,
what we need to do. And Chris Brown need to go to jail. He need to go to European jail. And then when he done serving in European jail, then he lock his ass up over here in the United States when he come back. Because I know he done got caught up in some bullshit over here too.
he has. He's been in a lot of violent incidents, fighting with security guards and blase, blase. Yeah, but the music industry refuses to cancel him for some reason. He got canceled briefly after Rihanna's incident. I don't know if he ever got canceled behind Karuchi, but they refuse to cancel this man, and people love him, including women. And um, this is why a lot of women are in situations that men abuse them, not necessarily physically, drop a baby on them, talk
Mm-hmm.
crazy, don't do nothing for them, because this seems to be the new badge of honor. It's not how many notches on your belt; it's how many baby mamas you got, kind of thing. This is some bragging right bullshit.
Mm.
You out here having these kids for these nothing ass Negroes and judging other folks for what they're doing. Like, oh, it's mm-mm.
It's a horrible cycle.
It really is. I mean, self
Hmm.
esteem of our women, young women out here, just letting these guys just. It's sad to see, and I don't know what can reverse it, but um, yeah. So,
Okay, because sometimes you just want them to stand up. Stand up, baby.
and
It
especially
ain't worth it.
who have the ability to do it. We watch these stars and stuff, messing with these trifling ass rappers and getting caught up the same way. It's like, girl, there were signs. There were signs before you got here. Why are you here? Like you
Girl,
would
don't
think.
even get me started, honey.
But I mean, having money doesn't impart any more sense than those of us with no money. You know what I'm saying? We think if people
Okay,
Girl,
have
because I'm
money,
broke and still got all the sense.
right? So we think people who are wealthy and in better positions should have more sense, right? But it just doesn't work out that way. We watch it. We watch it happen in real
What
time.
they say, money can buy you a lot of things, but it can't buy you intelligence, honey.
It
that is
really
very true. And I
does.
actually have a little bit of an unpopular opinion. Like, it'd be one thing if you are putting up with this stuff for the sake of money, because a lot of people, what they say, money is the root of all evil. So
Right.
a lot of girls will tolerate certain things or tolerate some unimaginable things for the sake of money. What I don't get is doing all of that and not getting anything. Like, you going through, because I know people personally, some people even in my family, you putting yourself through this for a broke nigga? Are you kidding me?
You
I
get
could never.
nothing. Nothing.
Get
Nothing.
nothing but babies and
Foolish.
STDs.
And pack.
Foolish.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't understand it. Well, I mean, money make people do a lot of things, but for sure, if you're not getting money and you're going through this kind of bullshit, oh, come
It's
get your
crazy.
baby, and you haven't seen your baby in 2 years, and oh Lord, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Oh, and D, to answer your question, it says Carucci is rumored to be dating a football player by the name of, is that Jadon Sancho? I don't know
Oh, I
sports.
did
So.
see that. I had Googled it. Jadon Sancho. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not violent. Hopefully she walked away from violence.
Hope
Hopefully.
so, because a lot of them violent too.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay. But is it football like American football, Auntie, or
Yeah,
is it football like European
European
soccer?
football
You
love.
asking me?
Oh, right, right, right.
That
Yeah,
sounds
all
like a
you read was sports ball. Never mind. Let me Google it myself.
yeah, that soccer player.
Oh, so
Ain't
okay,
the
thank you,
soccer.
King.
It's Spanish football. Football.
Football.
I know that's right.
Yeah, they built.
Well, I don't know the soccer players to be violent. I just know them
No,
to have big thighs and big booties.
a lot of our American football players are on steroids. Truth be told, it
Well,
may
yes. Now the American football players are very
alleged,
unstable. You know,
allegedly
they be bumping their heads too much.
all of that. Hmm. that leads
Well,
to
the sad part is, I'm looking at pictures of her man. He cute in the face or whatever. He like bright though, Auntie, so you wouldn't like him. But I can't see no pictures of him down below. I'm trying to see if he got thick thighs and a big booty, and this is terrible. I'm not seeing the pictures I need to see.
That's by design, honey. Crucial don't want you to see her man stuff. Let me stop.
Or he might not have none. That's the other thing, because when they are thick thighed and big booty, they be taking the photographers be making sure to get those pictures. Yeah, he ain't got no thighs, honey. I'm seeing it right now. He ain't got no thighs.
Damn.
Yeah, she got her skinny man, honey.
yeah.
Well, before we go to the next story, speaking of skinny men, did anybody want to add anything about Breezy's violent ass or
Oh
Karuchi?
no, we out for him. Maybe she don't want no big old thick man because yeah, she's a little person. So
Yeah, she is a tiny little thing, ain't she?
hmm
She's so tiny. That's unfortunate for her. Cause ain't nothing like a good piece of Texas toast, honey. Mm.
Well, honey, speaking of skinny people, skinny men rather. So we remember we talked previously about Skilla Baby, actually getting when he was in Detroit, getting his car getting shot up and
Ooh.
stuff. So he has actually come out, with a freestyle, pretty much addressing that. And baby, this is a little. He pretty much saying, "Okay, I see you, and I will be coming after you. You are on notice." So we about to watch him
You
talk about
missed.
it.
I'm coming for you.
Pretty much. Let me get it's an Instagram link I'm showing. Let me share my screen.
More violence, more violence, more
Just
violence.
more for real. It's so sad. Let me oh sorry, let me click this off.
Prayers in your
His
concerns.
name is
All
Hip.
praise to the Most High, my Lord and Savior, for covering me while I was in a bad situation. I know He don't make mistakes, so I will never ask Him why. Never question my Lord and Savior. I'm a soldier. I don't do no bullshit. I keep it solid. No soft shit. So, I don't fear niggas. I fear God. That nigga shot my truck up 20 times, I never cried. Them young niggas keep tapping in, they begging me to slide. They pushed up on a millionaire, they having too much pride. They said money don't win all wars. Niggas probably think like that because they all poor. I heard them niggas said I checked the fuck with y'all sort. Nigga ain't do shit but hurt my hand and start a war. I got a good feeling, it's gonna be a long summer. I'ma catch them all slipping, they think I ain't know nothing. The whole city know I keep it solid, never told nothing. Just make sure you do the same when it's your turn. Imagine your name being too big to slide. Your first mind telling you go sending up to God. You never play the internet when them niggas be dying. I ain't call my house when I got shot, nigga, quit crying.
So you gonna make a song about it, then you gonna do something. And what they gonna play in court?
Chill.
Make it
Make
up,
it the
chill.
fuck up, chill. I'm literally sitting up here watching that stupid song in his car. And I'm like, this idiot is admitting to premeditated murder. Premeditated murder
Like
on
what?
Instagram. He
Yep.
literally posted on Instagram, and now everybody done screenshot, screen recorded, all that shit. So it's out there. So if something actually happens to the
Mm-hmm.
dude who shot up his car and hurt his hand, he's going to jail.
Yes, he is.
Wow, these people are and he talking about they mad at him because he got a lot of money. They think you don't get no awards. It's all because you poor. Well, you know what you don't have when you got
Sense.
money? Intelligence. Stupidity is a virus that attacks rich and poor alike.
It's sad. Sad.
That is crazy. That is so crazy.
That's why I said, look, he don't put him on notice. We pretty much he made it very clear where his intentions were, and just like y'all said, they're gonna play this shit in court when some shit pops off. Good child.
You know what it
Well,
is? These skinny people don't got intelligence because they don't got enough meat. Okay, they haven't had enough
They have enough
nutrients growing
meat.
up. And the nutrients are failing to help their brains develop. The frontal lobe, that cortex is small.
I am
mm.
cracking up, honey.
They need they need more meat.
Okay. Just like that lady said, oh, he needs some milk. Baby, they need some meat.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
Baby, dumb to the dumb dumb dumb. I
Well,
ooh,
well, honey, speaking of meat, somebody who does not need any more meat because he has it all in his head because he's a meathead. Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' ex-husband.
oh boy.
Oh, here we
So
go.
Wendy done came out and spoke about his ass, honey. And she said that pretty much he trying to use her money of her situation and her name for a money grab. And I think Wendy is absolutely right. So I just shared this link on all from Hot New Hip Hop. And let's go over it here. So Wendy Williams suggests Kevin Hunter's lawsuit over her guardianship is a money grab. Look at his ugly ass. Look at him.
Wait,
Ugly.
so he's trying to gain the guardianship from the courts?
Not exactly. Well, pretty much he himself is trying to sue for Wendy's freedom, for what I understand, because in doing that, it's going to free up his money also.
Oh,
Hmm. So
damn.
Wendy Williams has confirmed to TMZ that she isn't involved in her ex-husband's Kevin Hunter's new lawsuit to get her out of her guardianship. Speaking with the outlet over the phone, she theorized that it could be a money grab. Hunter filed the lawsuit on Tuesday, arguing that the guardianship has become a weapon, not a shield. He alleges that Williams' court appointed guardians have abused, neglected, and defrauded her. The guardianship serves no therapeutic purpose, no protective function. It is punishment, pure and simple. Currently, Ms. Hunter is being confined against her will at one of Coteri's assisted living facilities with restricted access to her phone and meaningful contact with her friends and family, the lawsuit reads. Hunter even calls out Williams' guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, specifically. Wells Fargo permitted Sabrina Morrissey to liquidate assets and transfer funds in violations of internal bank policies and fiduciary obligations, the filing claims. Despite the unfettered access, Sabrina Morrissey has failed to make timely payments on Ms. Hunter's outstanding obligations, and many of Ms. Hunter's financial obligations have gone unattended. With the lawsuit, Hunter is seeking $250 million in damages. It lists 22 counts against multiple plaintiffs while claiming Williams has lost out on tons of money. This includes approximately $20 million per year in earnings, her $80 million estate, her $4 million condominium, personal goods in excess of $10 million, and severe reputational harm. See, yep, that's what that is. It says Williams and Hunter's marriage lasted for 21 years from 1999 through 2020. In the time since their divorce, Wendy has been diagnosed with Graves' disease, frontotemporal dementia, and progressive aphasia. In turn, she's been living at a luxury senior living facility in New York. At the home, she has made headlines for making several allegations about the living conditions in recent months. Back in March, a psychiatrist examined Williams and gave her a 10 out of 10 on a capacity test. According to TMZ, the psych exam used several questions to determine if she was alert or and oriented. Yeah, that's what that is, honey.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. So now why they keep calling her Mrs. Hunter?
Miss, you saw that right, and they keep putting MS, Miss Hunter.
Why
So
do they
they
keep,
don't just.
because her last name is Williams. She divorced him.
Mhm.
Once you
Exactly.
divorce him, don't she go back to her last name, her maiden name?
If she chooses to, you have
Oh,
to
maybe she
you have
chose
to
not to.
you have to ask for it, but you do. But you have to
Oh,
request it. You can't just assume it. You know.
I wonder if she didn't ask for it. Well,
I
regardless,
and
he not getting $250 million. That's stupid as hell. But
ever.
Well,
please,
she was known as Wendy Williams even when she was married. I mean, that's her brand name. But
true.
legally, she still may be Wendy Hunter.
She might, yeah, she might be. That's what was getting me tripped up because I was like, well, wouldn't she have asked to go back to her maiden name when she divorced his stupid ass?
She should have.
But yeah, I guess not.
That he'll continue being stupid and violent, honey. He just
He
gonna have to
ain't
get
getting
him a
that
job at the post
250
office.
million. I don't know why he think he getting that. I mean, now the people still been talking shit about Wells Fargo and that what's her name, Sabrina or whatever she is. Cause I
Hmm.
don't know if she doing her job as well as they think she should be. But he ain't finna get no $250 million.
No, he's not.
Please. Is Wendy even worth that much?
Well, I definitely do think she is.
I don't. I'm about to look it up because I have no idea what her net worth is. I mean, I know it would be high, in the millions, of course. But
Yeah, but since she's been off her show and everything, I mean, it's probably gone down less than that.
girl, they saying Wendy Williams' net worth is $5 million as of March 2025.
Oh shit.
Damn,
Mm-hmm.
gone down that much? Woo!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You trying to get some before the money run out? Is that what it is?
But
Hmm.
to get 250 million, where you gonna get it from? What? Wells Fargo going to supplement the other 245? Get the hell out of here.
I wonder what happens if she runs out of money. Would that guardianship be so strict, or they
You
put her
know.
out on the street? You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
feel like because they own her assets as well, like
Yeah,
that 5 million might be
can't
like
be right.
liquidated cash, but
Yeah,
her assets may be able to, you know,
yeah, yeah,
maintain.
right.
But they did say, in February 2024, she was worth $20 million, most
Yeah.
of which came from her daytime talk show. But she done went down $15 million. Where the hell is that money being spent?
Them white women spending it.
Yeah, they're getting paid. That place
Child.
she's staying at getting paid. I'm sure that place is not cheap.
Oh, you know it ain't cheap, honey.
So yeah, you can spend that kind of money in a year with all this going on with her. They definitely getting paid.
Mm, mm. Our girl Wendy. Lord.
Well, y'all know she my girl. Shout out. Well, she's all our girls. Shout out to her, honey. I truly hope she get through. I hate she got to go through this ball fucker. I hate it.
Yeah, she got enough going on without dealing with his ass.
Well, does anybody want to add anything else about Wendy and this ball ass fucker before we go to the next story?
Mm-mm.
Well, the next story, y'all, not that y'all care, but Angela Simmons has confirmed that she and Yo Gotti are no longer a thing.
Oh no.
Well, we're gonna watch her talk about it with Angie Martinez. So I'm sharing this Instagram link. Give me 1 second while it pops up. Move, ho. So this is from All Hip Hop's Instagram page.
And you've been quiet lately. Are you guys together still or no?
No,
No.
I'm not with him.
No.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, not by choice, but I respect him. It's all love.
It's
Like
not your choice?
I wouldn't have chose it, but it was what was best. But I wouldn't have chose it. No,
What are you saying to me right now, Angela Simmons?
I'm saying that I'm a lover. I love love. I love relationships. I stand.
This man proclaimed that he wanted to get with Angela Simmons. This man like pursued you. He proclaimed it in front of everybody
Right.
that he wants Angela Simmons. So you're not telling me that he ended. Did he end the relationship or did?
No, it was my choice. I had to make a decision, but I think there's a certain level of like what I can share and would share publicly. You know what I mean? And I can publicly say that I'm not with him anymore. But as far as like details, I would just never.
It's not your style.
Nah, like I'm just not that girl. Like I'm just not that girl ever to share that much more. Like other than like, yeah, we're not together.
Yeah, and he's not really that type either. So
Yeah, that's my vibe though. Like I said, like I could have probably been in and out of like 4 or 5 other relationships people would have never known and got my feelings hurt or not or whatever. And I just wouldn't speak on it.
Really?
Because some stuff is just better left unsaid, I feel like. So I just leave things alone.
It's just that it was so public.
I know.
That's the hard part. Do you regret that? in a way, or no?
No,
No.
no,
Mm.
no. I
Because
don't-
now there's curiosity.
I know.
Now
I
people
know.
want to know what happened.
I know.
But I understand that.
Look, I just, again, like, much love and respect to him, and just like he's doing his thing. I'm happy for him.
Really.
Go ahead, girl. Keep your secrets. Don't be telling everybody your life. You right. He was fucking over
Yeah,
me.
she is
And
absolutely
I
right.
had to let him go.
Okay, because that's exactly what happened.
Allegedly.
And she
Because
talking
first she
about
tried to say,
I
"Oh
wouldn't have
well,"
want this.
she said, "I didn't do it by choice," but then go turn around and say, "Well, yeah, it was my choice to end the relationship." I'm like,
Okay,
girl.
okay. You
I
caught it, right,
I
Auntie?
had to. Yeah. He love bombed the fuck out of her though, baby.
He sure
She
did.
fell right for it.
Well, that's that on that. Does anybody want to add anything about them? Oh, Missy says hi, y'all. Does anybody want to add anything about Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti before we go to the next story, child?
No. Glad she's let people speculate. You tell people your business. I love that for her. You know, you had the good parts out there on the internet showing all the things he was doing and flowers and cars and dinners and so forth. That's nice. But now that you've broken up, yeah, don't tell people nothing. Just go, keep it moving. On to the next one.
That's right. Well, honey, this is about. Well, does anybody want to add anything else before we go to the next story? Because this is a really interesting discussion.
Hey, Missy got something to say.
She sure, honey, Miss ain't
You
paying us
saying
no
fuck
mind.
Yo Gotti.
Okay, Missy, girl, we get it.
Missy got smoke for whoever it is outside, child. Well, speaking of smoke, honey, it seemed like a lot of the young people, or the YNs that they be calling, the young niggas, they got a lot of smoke for Nas, honey, apparently.
What?
Well, not necessarily smoke. It's just that they're not familiar with him. Like, they didn't grow up with him like, somebody like myself, a millennial, did. So this started a discussion. So first we're going to watch the video that started the discussion. It was a bunch of looks like millennial men talking to this young guy, this young 22-year-old, about like Jim Jones versus Nas. So we're going to watch that first. Give me 1 second. By way of the Instagram link. Let me share my screen.
Jim Jones has more hits than Nas.
I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on ballin'.
That's one.
We did not grow up on one mic. Pop Champagne, Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World. How's that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man's MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game.
Okay.
I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now. If you did top 3 influential people regarding dressing,
But
swag, Jim Jones is top 3.
But Nas influenced Jim Jones.
Cap, Chrome Hearts and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like top 3.
So where you put Max B?
Nobody was wearing Ed Hardy. Nobody was wearing True Religion. Nobody was wearing Chrome Hearts. All that was white biker stuff. He brought that into the culture.
Well,
And how old are you, real quick?
23.
23.
So Nas first dropped 94, right? So that's a different time period where this is not really even checking for numbers yet. He came in at a period where he's just checking for the skill of the game. You're comparing 2 different eras, and I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous.
It's the difference between being in the game and being relevant.
But
Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas.
Jim Jones and Nas are in the same era. Jim Jones is 48 years old. Nas is 51 years old. Jim Jones just wasn't a rapper and didn't know how to rap when Nas was rapping. No matter what Jim Jones has improved to, it's still not Nas.
But
Like,
you
you can
know
put a
it's
V12
funny.
in a Honda, it's
you
not
know
a
it-
Lamborghini.
But you know it's funny. The last Nas album is not better than the last Jim Jones album. It's not better than the last 3 Jim Jones
By
albums.
what metric,
By what,
though?
yeah,
By
that's-
bars, by everything. El Capo,
It's better
the
than
deluxe is better than King's Disease.
Ooh, child.
Well, you've been told, okay?
Look, that's the we cannot like the kids hear music different than what we did. Like
Very
it's
much
just not.
so.
You can't expect like I'm not even upset with it. This is this young man experience, and he I think he articulated it very well.
Yeah,
So I kind of got into the mind of a young boy to see, okay, so he'd see because pretty much the exposure they weren't exposed to Nas and stuff like that. Nas is definitely much older than what if you're born in 2002, and then like I think Nas is at the time, like I think that was probably what you would maybe want to call the height of his career in the early 2000s, like around One Mic and Uchiwali and all that.
Right,
right.
right.
That young man wasn't even just born, and then wasn't even
Yeah.
born, and then when he was born, he wasn't old enough to definitely not understand it. But Jim Jones, somebody who's been popular since he was in elementary school, I mean that's just it is what it is. Well,
It's a different generation, you know?
it is a
Well,
different
that's like youngsters out here talking about Drake is better than Kendrick bars wise, and it's like, baby, go go change your diaper. Like, come on, what are you talking about? Like,
Mhm.
Not
okay,
gonna change your
Drake is
diaper.
the greatest rapper, and
They
Drake
need to go get a hearing test.
because you like Drake. I get it, but you can't put him above other rappers just because you like him. I mean, this is to me the way they think because they're influenced
Mhm.
by his music and maybe what he wear and what he's doing and blah blah blah. What shoe he wear and all. Maybe that's what all they look at, but that doesn't put him at the top of the rap pile. You know what I'm saying? Even he got more streams, he got more of this, he got more of this. Yeah, their metrics are flawed to me.
No, they're flawed to all of us. well, Jim Jones has actually responded to this. He was actually on the podcast with Fat Joe's, that is Fat Joe and Jada Kiss. And let's see what Jim Jones has to say about it. So I'm going to share another Instagram link. Share this. Let's let that come up. Maybe I should log in so we can stop seeing this pop up. Let me see.
A clip.
Let me refresh so we can see it straight from the beginning. Damn it.
Recently saw a clip on the Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
Yeah, that's my young boy.
big
right there.
hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my
right?
in my era too. I mean,
So to
well,
be compared-
yeah, let me
that young kid.
let me.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. Yes. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We're talking about 94, 93. I was in 11th grade. It's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
You know what I mean?
A lot
Like,
of them know.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's the era.
Some music.
No,
Some kids that.
no, I love that.
There's some
for you.
kids that love
My
hip
son's
hop.
20, so I mean,
But he's your son.
He's your son.
He's your son.
No, but he knows.
My son,
they know about
my
Nas.
son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word? When it comes to
Miscommunication.
Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these
We
rappers,
made him take the darkies off.
a lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget I got a hell of a catalog: gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats. No nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record. Then check everybody else's track record. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard, and if you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
So guess what, y'all? I actually took his advice, and I did go to the Googles and I pulled up Nas's Billboard entries and I pulled up his. And remember, he was the one who said, like, don't me by myself, Jim Jones, me by myself, don't even include the diplomats. So I did it. So I'm just quickly show the billboards.com Nas's now let me share this screen really quick and we're going to examine this together.
Ooh, I love educated bits.
So thank you. So now this is Nas's chart history, and this is like a number of times they've been entered into the Billboard Hot 100. So he's had 27 songs that have entered the Billboard Hot 100. 2 of them were top 10 hits, but he has no number 1 hits. So this is the information that Jim Jones told us to look up, right?
One thing to note about the 2 top 10s is he was featured.
Oh.
Clock it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you are absolutely right. Yep, because I see it here. So there's that. But still, even that's still not. So let's look at Jim Jones's. Let me stop sharing. Let's look at Jim Jones's from the same Billboard website.
Oh, yes.
Let's do that.
Yes. We love apple to apples.
Not them trying to say, let me refresh this. They trying to make me take my ad thing off. Okay. All right. So this is Jim Jones. So now we see how many. So he has had 2 songs that have entered the Billboard Hot 100s and only 1 top 10 hit. Now, in his defense, that 1 top 10 hit was a solo, or so as compared to Nas, who has
no features.
Right.
Okay, we'll give him
So,
that.
so I guess we'll give him that one. But maybe he should have not told people to go and look up the Billboard entries because I mean the numbers.
Also, Auntie, let's get into this date because that little YN tried to play Nas, but let's get into the date of We Fly High because We Fly High was a hit record, very hit record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hit record. Look at the year, 2006. That little YN would have been 4 years old. Probably couldn't even say the word high, let alone spell it.
No, he probably was doing the ball in with the hand up only because my younger sister who was born in 2006, she was doing that shit. So
okay.
The kids know the little songs now. They know that.
Okay.
The ABCs, you know how that is.
But there you have it.
He told you to go look it up, and you did.
And the numbers don't lie; they're right there. But I love Jim Jones. I find him to be hilarious, and not just because he's been around my family stuff. I think he's funny, but like maybe he should have said something else because that's not a. Don't tell people to go Google something, and when they do, it don't work in your favor.
Okay, because the math wasn't mathing. 2 songs have made it to the billboards.
You're talking to one youngster who has some friends and they love Jim Jones. I would not dare to put this forward as youngsters all over the country don't know who Nas is and Jim Jones is influencing them in the same way. You know what I'm saying? This is
right.
Something to talk about. This is not in any way a nationwide thing.
Yeah, because he's definitely not the representative for all of Gen Z. Don't nobody even know who his little young ass is.
Right. So, whatever. But that definitely, don't tell people to look up shit and you can't back it up. Come on, man.
There you go.
Or at least be smart enough to look it up yourself before you say it.
You say that. Why would you not know that? I mean, just being an artist and all,
And the massive fan of Nas that he claimed to
that he
be.
claimed to be, right? Why wouldn't you know those stats before you tell people to go look that up?
And y'all
Whew.
caught the shade in what he was trying to say, trying to make it seem like Nas was just so much. Keep in mind, Nas is only 3 years older than him. But like Nas, he was inspiring me. He came out when I was in the 11th grade. Like,
Like, yeah,
okay.
dumbass. And then 2 years later, you came out. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
As soon as you graduated, you was out there rapping. Get out of here. Come on.
Youngster done blew his head up like, oh yeah, they love me. Well, yeah, those 5 or 6 kids love you. Come
5
on,
or
man.
6.
Maybe that whole little neighborhood. You might have that hood or something, okay, Jim, we not mad at you though, Jim. It's okay. You know, everybody, it's room for everybody, baby. It's room for
That's
everybody.
right.
You ain't gotta claim nothing, especially if it ain't true. But okay.
Exactly. Well, does anybody? I got two more stories left. Does anybody want to add anything about Jim Jones before we go to the
Who's
next
the
story?
problematic man that looks like Jim Jones and be on the podcast?
I'm trying to think who you're talking about.
Is he talk? You talking about Myron Gaines or
No.
that his name or
No, no, no.
Joe Budden or
There you go. There you go. That's his
I,
name.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
You think Joe Budden looks like Jim Jones?
Well, when I see them, I think of them together.
Oh my God.
I'd be like, oh.
it's
I mean,
sad that I
they around the
do
same
problematic.
age and stuff. I don't think that they exactly look alike, but they are two light-skinned Negroes from
They
New
just
York.
got scraggly face hair and it's
Mm-hmm. They definitely
aesthetic.
got scraggly faces.
Yeah.
They
Mm-hmm.
don't even look like cousins. Like,
Well, no. Hold on. No, no. They
Aesthetically, they look
definitely look
alike,
like
Auntie.
cousins. They could be cousins. They both scruffy as hell. They could be cousins. But that's why I said he was the problem. I'm like, who the one that's problematic? Because Jim not problematic.
Mm-mm.
oh yes, he is.
Well, I don't never see nothing about Jim Jones, as evident by Billboard. So I just don't. But I do know that Joe is very problematic. Oh, he's terribly problematic.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Well, some people live in their own world. We gotta let them. You don't have to go there and visit,
Okay.
but let them live there. It's okay.
Okay.
hmm Well, honey, the people who did not let John B live in his own world, honey, they got his ass to the point that he done came out apologizing, girl.
Oh,
So let's talk about. Yes, honey, John B. They don't know John B. On ain't but one, but he overstepped and people got his ass together. So he apologized. So let's share. I'm sharing this link from Hot New Hip Hop. And you see where it says here, John B regrets harsh comments to Gunna and Chloe Bailey over using They Don't Know sample. hmm So John B is walking back early remarks he made about Chloe Bailey and Gunna's duet "You and Me," which samples his 1998 R&B classic "They Don't Know." The veteran crooner had initially dismissed the track as "quote unquote" ratchet, a word he now says he deeply regrets using. His candid admission came during a recent appearance on Shirley's Temple with Shirley Jew, where he opened up about how the backlash pushed him to reevaluate his tone, his message, and his legacy. The episode marked a rare moment of vulnerability for John B., who acknowledged that podcast culture was still an unfamiliar terrain for him. I regretted how I spoke on it the first time, he admitted. Wasn't used to doing podcasts. I didn't know how to speak my truth the right way. His response wasn't just about his media inexperience, it was about the emotional weight of his words. It hurt me, he added. That could be my daughter right there. It hit different. So now he's the victim. Okay.
oh,
Anyway.
I have several thoughts.
none, none of them nice, huh?
Girl. The original criticism seemed to some like a generational slight, but John B insists that wasn't his intent. His frustration, he clarified, didn't stem from ego or disdain for today's artists, but from a misplaced reaction he now owns. He stressed that he never wants to be perceived as someone who tears down younger talent, especially those who honor his work by bringing it into a new era. I never want to come off like a hater, he said. I appreciate someone remembering me in any instance to make a joint. Though he confirmed that the sample used in You and Me was never officially cleared, John B. didn't dwell on the legalities. Instead, he emphasized respect for artistic evolution, for creative reinterpretation, and for the artists shaping the future of R&B. He knows how rare it is to be sampled, let alone recognized decades later. John B's revised stance reflects maturity and accountability. In a space where legacy can be rewritten by a single quote, he chose course correction over defensiveness. His message is now clear. Honoring the past doesn't mean holding back the present. As new voices reinterpret old melodies, John B wants to be remembered not just for the songs, but how he supported the next generation singing them. Boy, whatever, whatever.
Girl, this is a case of when white people get too comfortable with black people. He got that black wife and he got them biracial children, which I'm sure they're lovely children. But his white ass and got too comfortable talking about, oh, that's a ratchet. First of all, why would ratchet even come to your mind? What are you talking about? And then you're talking about Chloe could have been your daughter. No, no,
Not at
because she
all.
wouldn't be the daughter of a white man that would call her music ratchet. So
Wake it
absolutely
up.
not. Okay. Second of all, let's wake up the fact that his his take back was because he wasn't used to podcasts and how to properly frame himself on podcasts. It wasn't because he didn't think the song was ratchet, which he probably still does. As
Of
much as
course
he
he
say,
does.
"Oh, I don't think so," because she could be my daughter, and I wouldn't want to offend my daughter. Yeah, his daughters is probably the ones that woke it up for his ass.
Yep.
Child, kick his ass out the cookout. He ain't invited no more.
I told you see that's exactly what I was talking about with Fat Joe, how they really overstepped their position in black culture, and now you when you overstep, you tend to show your ass, and that's exactly what both he and Fat Joe do.
Thank you, because you're not even relevant. Like, let's talk about everybody loves your songs. We still love the songs from back in the day. Yes, you sound like you might be black, but you're not. So don't go overstepping your boundaries. You trying to act like you can because you married a black woman and had interracial children. Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Hmm. And if you want to know what white man you need to model, be more like Paul Wall. He is probably one of the most unproblematic white men who knows his position, who does not overstep. Shout out to Paul
And who
Wall.
done lost weight and got a little fine with his little gray hair giving daddy.
Now,
Silver
now,
Daddy. Little gangster Silver Daddy down in Houston.
now
With
I
them
kind of wish
grills
the
in
weight
his
was
teeth.
still on him, but I'm not his wife, so that ain't for me to determine. But I think he looked better with the weight. That's just me.
You said you think he looked better with the weight? Oh,
He
yeah.
absolutely
I mean,
did.
once he lost, like when he started losing the weight, it was good. But then it got too much weight to where you know how when people lose too much weight, they start to look sick, and you be
Hmm.
like, "Well, what happened? Are you sick?"
Maybe he
That's
was.
what he looking like now. Where you like, "Well, Paul, did something happen?"
He might be sick.
He might be, but I
You
don't
never
know if that.
know.
I thought he was on Zempi.
And that could be the reason too. I mean,
Mm,
those people can do a little too much and start because you lose the weight so fast. Fast weight loss never makes you look good, and I don't
oh,
care how you
mm,
get there. When you losing a lot of weight quickly, you losing muscle weight too because you're
right.
not feeding your body. So
Right.
you start to look a little off. You know,
Yeah, yeah. He
yeah.
wasn't on Zempi though. I did look up. So apparently he had a gastric sleeve in 2010.
And
Oh.
that can cause problems too, even later on down the line, with your nutrition issues. You could have issues absorbing enough
Mm.
nutrients and all of that, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He may be sick, like you said. So, and we should have learned this lesson from when the guy from Black Panther. Yeah,
Chadwick
Oh
Boseman.
yeah, Chadwick.
and
Yeah.
didn't tell anyone. And the way people talked about him when he lost weight, and Ariana Grande, they've been critical of her, and I know she's had some health issues. So, stop with the speculation on what's going on with people. Stop talking about people. You don't know what's going on with people.
Mm-hmm.
You like making fun of them. It's different than you say, "Oh, I've noticed he's lost a lot of weight. I wonder if they're okay." Now they're gonna look like he ain't eaten 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff.
Right.
This culture of putting people on the internet and making fun of them, especially strangers in public, and making whole timelines about them. That to me is so disturbing. Like people don't,
Mhm.
especially people who have no control over how they look, that maybe were born with
Mm-hmm.
ability or deformity or whatever. To make fun of people is just so callous. I mean, it's just a sign of what's going on in the world today. Like we don't care about each other. This whole connected thing is bringing out the worst in people. That we can be on devices and just see all kinds of bullshit and laugh about it and make fun of people. It's crazy to me.
Right, right. Now I ain't making fun of Paul. I'm just saying
No,
I was very
I know I'm not.
concerned.
She want to talk
No,
about
I
you.
know.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
But I
That
am looking
brought
at
up.
his recent Instagram post, and Auntie, it look like he gained some of that weight back.
Oh,
I
he
think he
did
might have
he?
had to put that muscle weight back on, but he's a little chunky.
No, you won't
Oh,
making fun of him. You were saying he was fine. So yeah, she
yeah,
won't talk about
yeah.
you.
No, I wasn't
Well,
talking
I'm
about her.
also looking at the skin in these photos, and
It could be medications making him gain weight, steroids and
you
shit. You
know.
just never know.
That's why I can't do the colonizers, Auntie, because he just, unfortunately, his skin is just, it's
It's not
just
looking
not.
healthy.
It's not. It's just, it's starting to look a little crackly, like how they be when they start to age. Their skins start looking like the desert, just cracks in the
My God.
ground.
Let me
And
let me mute my mic. I
so,
just had enough with you.
uh,
I've had
but
enough with you.
Auntie, you're right. Paul Wall is a very unproblematic Caucasian, and I love that
Yep.
about him. I do love that about him. I live for Paul Wall when I
Yeah,
see him.
he's
I be
very
like,
loved
"Come on,
here.
Paul."
Very loved here.
That's that Houston upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
He's very loved here. Stays in his lane. Very unplugged. And been on a lot of features and Houston artists have. Yeah, yeah. We all love Paul down here.
Okay.
Well, does anybody want to add anything about that iconic Paul Wall before we go to our last story? Well, our last story, honey, imagine being sued over the word situationship.
What?
Well, yes, well, T.I. has a story to tell. So I just shared this link from Hot New Hip Hop, and you see where it says T.I. slammed with intellectual property theft lawsuit for allegedly stealing situationships title. So let's talk about it. Let me share my screen. Okay. So T.I. is facing a new intellectual property theft lawsuit regarding the title of his upcoming film, Situationships. Scylla Cini, owner of the production company Featherstone Entertainment, claims the rapper allegedly stole the name from her own project, according to Billboard. Cini helmed 2 seasons of a scripted web series also titled Situationships. It launched on YouTube in 2016, but is currently distributed by BET Digital, Amazon Prime, and Tubi, whom I adore. I love Tubi. So anyway,
I want better for
additionally,
you.
I don't want Bill, I want Tubi. So, additionally, she says that she was in the process of developing a TV show and a movie version of Situationships between 2019 and 2024. It was at the end of this period of time where that she learned that Ti and his company Grand Hustle Films were making a comedy by the same name. She believes the alleged infringement is intentional, noting that one of her collaborators on her situationship show is a close friend of Ti's family and a producer with whom she discussed the idea and is now working on Ti's version. Defendants are engaging in a common scheme in effort to take advantage of the public's association of Featherstone's situationships brand by marketing their own film and entitling it situationships. Cena's attorney writes in the lawsuit. Uh, at one point in Cindy's lawsuit, her attorneys referenced T.I. and his wife Tamika Tiny's Harris' recent 71 million trial win against toy maker MGA. They accused the company of making dolls by stealing the intellectual property of their teen pop group OMG Girls, which we've talked about here on this show. Unfortunately, T.I. is engaging in some of the same conduct he fought so vigorously to protect himself from in his own intellectual property lawsuit. The filing adds. All in all, Cine is accusing both T.I. and Grand Hustle Films of alleged trademark infringement, unfair competition, and civil conspiracy. In turn, she wants an injunction to bar them from releasing the movie under the name Situationships. She's also listed unspecified financial damages. So, this sounds very similar to Tyler Perry's "She the People." Remember that lawsuit that was
Yeah.
going? Very similar to that. So Ti change that name and just change the name of the show, honey. You can call it something else, or just call it Situation Ship without the S at the end. You don't have to make it plural.
Well, he
Like,
gonna owe her money because he gonna lose that lawsuit.
yep. And I believe everything this lady is alleging.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the name is that word is not a copyrighted word, but yeah, I mean it reeks of the same
But
thing.
media under that title could be copyrighted.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that word, it would be weird to sue somebody over the copyright, like the word itself. But now I see why she's suing them because of the media aspect associated with it.
And she had that show going on since 2016, and then somebody who was on that production team is
Hmm.
personal
Now
friends
that's the
with Ti.
shady.
Right, it's collaborating with Grand
Mm,
Hustle.
shady.
Very, very, very shady.
Okay. It's giving corrupt.
Nasty work. It's nasty work.
Okay.
Nasty work. Ti changed the name of that damn movie and move on, honey. But
Yep.
but not without giving that girl a nice little settlement first though, because you tried it.
Period.
Yep.
Well, y'all, that was all the tea that I have for us today. So before we head out, did any of you have any tea that you want to share? Any tea I might have missed?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
let's hear it.
Yes. Okay. Beyonce had her first performance in Paris last night.
Ow.
And she brought out Miley Cyrus, who was the first musical guest artist on the Cowboy Carter tour.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, her and Miley sang the two most wanted song.
Well, isn't Miley on her album?
Yes, Miley's the feature on Two Most Wanted. So
Okay.
they sang it together.
Oh.
It was so cute. It was so cute. Blue Ivy had a new outfit for her iconic Deja Blue segment. She had a whole new outfit. I said, oh, she's giving us new outfits.
Because she was conceived in Paris.
And Patty and gay Patty. And then Beyonce, of course, sold out the stadium that night. She sold it out. And in addition to her sellout of the stadium tour in Paris, she had 6 sold out shows in London.
Yeah.
But guess who didn't have a sold out show in London, Auntie, and
Get
who's
ready.
struggling for tickets?
Get ready, Auntie. Get ready.
Oh, that
Your
light
man,
skin
your
coquette.
man, bitch.
Oh yeah. I ain't
He's
baby.
he's
I'm
selling them 2 for 1 now.
He's selling them 2 for 1, Auntie. 2 for 1,
wow.
bitch.
And I'm not surprised by in the least. I'm really not. Only because remember he tried to do his thing in Vegas and was having trouble selling out shows there. If you can't sell out shows in Vegas,
He definitely can't sell them out in London. I don't even know why he thought he could do a stadium tour in
A
London. That was
stadium.
crazy in and of itself. But then he was the one that was talking, well, him and several other people, but he was one of the ones that was talking shit about how Beyonce don't be selling out her concert. But she sold out London 6 nights in a
6
row
times.
and
6.
didn't need a 2 for 1 sale.
Yeah,
Whack
your man is
ass.
so problematic. Don't run.
Now Auntie left. Now Auntie left because
Don't
her
run.
man ain't selling out them
he,
stadiums, honey.
he got snatched out of here.
Screaming.
Oh, baby, the karma is so sweet.
Okay,
It's so delicious, just delicious.
okay.
I love that for Beyonce though.
Me too. Me too. I just want her to bring out Molly when she come to Houston. Everybody be like, "Well, why did Paris get all this love from Beyonce?" Because she got new merch, so there's a Deja Blue shirt and everything.
Yeah, I
It's like,
saw that.
oh, it's so cute. I want to get it so bad, chill. I do.
You know what? I'm gonna draw a picture of Beyonce and put her name on it. $100 just for you.
I
Ah!
know that's right.
$100 of just a
Somebody
special
did say that
deal.
damn Deja Blue shirt was $70. They was like, "Oh no,
Yes,
ma'am, ain't nobody
and
paying
no,
that." I said,
you
"Bitch, she will
said
already have my
no.
credit card, honey."
You said yes. You was gonna buy it.
Baby,
Stop it.
baby, swipe the card, honey. $70, please. Swipe, boo, swipe.
For a
But
T-shirt?
girl with Deja Blue on there,
I
Deja Blue.
wouldn't care
Oh,
if Blue was handed you the T-shirt. Man, come on.
child, $70. She get my money, honey. It's so sad, but she really could. She already knows. She know her price points. She know what
Oh
the hive can
God.
afford, and she know she
Yeah,
got us.
she got y'all good.
Okay. And while I'm not necessarily in the Ivy League, I definitely stand Blue Ivy down. I stand up for her as the Gunkle, as the Beehive Gunkle. I stand
Oh
up for
yeah.
her.
It's
Hmm.
beautiful seeing how she's blossomed on these concerts.
Oh my God.
Her dancing has improved, but she's still
Oh,
a young lady.
and
She's
she's
not.
so confident. She's so
Yeah,
confident and
yeah.
she's having fun with it like her mama.
And Rumi trying to get her little shine too. She like
Okay.
twirl. Let me twirl, mama.
Okay.
It's too cute. I love that for them.
It
Girl.
is adorable.
And I live for Beyonce still being a black mama and being like, Blue, you ain't wearing what I'm wearing.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you covering up that skin.
And when we
That's
doing the
right.
booty popping, you pop it this way, not that way.
Hello?
Okay,
Hello?
she still dance like a young lady. I love that for her.
Mm. Oh, it's
She
so
got all her
good.
mama's sass in it. I love it. I
Oh,
love.
it's so good. It's so good.
Buy me some
Okay.
secret.
Okay, okay. What else?
Okay, honey. I want my hair salon. They calling me Rapunzel, honey. Thank you, Sacred.
Yeah, buy me some
Yeah, not a
secret.
puzzle.
See, she got your
Look,
credit card.
Girl, it's terrible. It's terrible. She was damn sending me text messages talking about new merch is available. I'm like, bitch,
Text messages.
I am poor. And I know this is not Beyonce actually texting me. Leave me
Yes, it
alone.
is. Yes, it is.
But yes,
look, thank you
Auntie,
for
I
that
just had to
that
deliver
big
that tea.
tea. Thank you. That was some good tea. Thank you for that. And does anybody have any more tea that I might have missed?
Child, none
I
that
don't
we
think nothing
talk
else
about.
did.
There's plenty tea out there, but we don't want to talk about them people.
Right,
Hello.
right. I was about to say, well, have you been seeing this whole, and this, we talk about it very briefly, but have you been seeing this whole like Tucker Carlson trying to rebrand himself by dunking on other staunch
Oh, man.
Republicans?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he
That's some
definitely.
I
bullshit.
saw.
It's bullshit, and I'm calling bullshit, and it's forever. Fuck him.
Forever. Go ahead, Shirley.
And it's just as a, coming from my health perspective as a public service announcement, I keep telling people stop buying these pre-prepared foods from Trader Joe's and Kroger's and Walmart. Cook your food. Do not buy these salads with chicken on them. Walmart and Kroger have a recall on chicken fettuccine prepared meals.
Oh
Cook
yes.
your food. You cannot depend, especially now with all the firings of and oversight, of these plants that produce our food.
And the
Cook,
FDA. Mm-hmm.
cook your food. Wash your vegetables with vinegar and uh, all of that stuff. Do the most to protect yourself because these people are not trying to protect you and will get you sick or unalived, especially if you're immunocompromised. So pay attention. You might not, there's a whole site dedicated to recalls. You might want to check that out, but just don't be so quick. They're easy, I'm sure, and it's cute and all that. Go run, pick up a salad for lunch, already made, and put your fork in it. But honey, you're taking a risk. So just be careful out there with those prepared foods for real, especially the ready to eat ones. You just open it up and pop your fork in there. Don't put no heat on it at all. Oh my gosh.
Y'all better listen to her. This is a retired health professional. Listen to everything she's telling you and leave those cooked food, them ready-made meals alone. Thank you for that, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Well, so now, and also just a message: if you are a part of the LGBTQ community and would like to be featured on our Pride Post segment, please send us your content to auntie@auntiederek.com. We would love to talk about you, especially since Pride Month is almost over with. So y'all better get them in. but but thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to come and sip tea with me. We will be back on Monday with even more tea and more about the Diddy trial. But in the meantime, you all have a fabulous weekend.
Bye, everybody. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
As my one good friend says,
Don't do
make
what
good
Moderna would
choices.
do. Just don't do nothing I wouldn't do, okay? Bye.